This is the Nancy Stevens Lifestyle Show here on the New Horizon Radio.
Hey, and welcome to the Nancy Stevens Lifestyle Show. And I'm delighted to be back on air on the New Horizon. A little bit about me. I'm not a natural redhead, but I have my amazing hairdresser to thank for this, who will be on my show later. I'm born in Zimbabwe, but made in the UK. Proudly made in the UK, but proudly born in Zimbabwe as well. On today's show, I'm talking about The Apprentice getting all hot and bothered with a fiasco of a sauce. Operation Mincemeat, a musical about how he won World War II. Trying to find trousers to fit me. Oh my God. Follow me on my painful journey. Also talking about my event, exciting event, Embrace the Change Workshop. My guest will be Hannah of HK Hair. And I'm talking The Apprentice, creating hot sauce and the accompanying advert. Oh God, another totally cringeworthy task. Splitting into teams. Anissa should have been the project manager because she actually deals in, it's her job. She literally creates sauces and food all day. But again, once again, Captain Mia put herself in charge. And to be fair, once Anissa was creating the sauces, I was wondering if this is your day job, I'd be a little bit worried because she was just chucking everything in. It just, I don't know. I mean, I'm no cook. I proudly claim the title of undomesticated goddess, but honestly, everything that was going into the sauce was just shocking. So yeah. The ingredients it was not a good combination. But if making the sauce was a disaster, it was nothing compared to the advert. Oh, God. I mean, I'm literally head and hands. Malika, God bless her, said that she had an A in GCSE drama. Therefore, she should be acting the advert. And she went on and on and on about this. Like, just because you've got a GCSE in drama doesn't make you the next Judi Dench. So, what are you thinking? She just kept saying over again, and everyone was ignoring her, but she was incredibly disruptive and just sort of saying, well, I've got an A in GCSE, and it's like, nobody cares, To be honest with you, nobody could act. I mean, the acting was absolutely appalling. Both adverts were so embarrassing, it was hard to choose. The first issue was that the source from one of the team wasn't available for the shoot. So the director, again, I've no idea what he was thinking, clearly no Scorsese, said, well, because he was in the absence of a product, let's lick the plate. I mean, who thinks of licking a plate in something that is supposed to be a gourmet restaurant, a gourmet task? So that was pretty bad. But the worst one was when the girls, the sauce that they had was called banging, no G, no apostrophe. So it looked like banging. They were in prison and they wanted to break out because the sauce was so hot and it was just so amazing. So we've got these two female prisoners who are kind of grappling, for want of a description, with each other and going, oh my God, the sauce is amazing. And the noises that were being emitted, well, it was a Harry Met Sally moment. It was like, I'll have what she's having. It was just appalling. They had to actually cut that because, I mean, Tim and Karen's eyes had rolled so far back in their heads you couldn't see it. It was just, I've never seen anything like it. It was really, really funny. It made for great television. It really, really did. So yeah, it was the most cringeworthy thing I've ever seen. When the sauces were being judged by industry experts like Levi Roots, he said it was bland and boring, and the other sauce, which was called Umami Mami, was too thick and wouldn't pour, and the name is quite misleading, so that again they were told off for that, and quite rightly both teams lost. I've never seen Lord Sugar lose his rag like that. Every week he gets angry and quite rightly so. Again, these purport to be the best business brains in Britain, try and say that quickly, but he just said, both of you are shocking. I cannot, in all good faith, let any of you win because it makes me look like I don't know what I'm talking about. And so they were both lost. So not one person came out this week smelling of roses. Malika was fired for being disruptive again, and Emma with the Spice Girl hair was fired for doing absolutely nothing. So Mia, who's a contender, is looking quite shark-like. So I'm not warming to her. She's very good at what she does, but my God, she's ruthless. So hungry for the win. And so the whole task was less Tabasco and more of a fiasco. And I'm going to talk all things theatre now. Operation Mincemeat. I've wanted to see the show for such a long time. Unfortunately for me, it's been extended a record 14 times. So every time I thought, oh my God, it's going to end, I'm not going to get to see it. And just circumstances just weren't allowing it. So when I went to Kitty Yoga a couple of weeks ago, we thought, well, we're in London anyway. We may as well go and see a show. So we did Kitty Yoga, and then we went to the Breakfast Club for the most phenomenal brunch. I highly recommend. My son's gluten-free, and their gluten-free options are incredible. But we went to see, Operation Mincemeat, and it was so worth the wait. It's fast-paced, hilarious, and it's the unbelievable story of the twisted secret mission of how we won World War II. It's got elements, I think, of the Book of Mormon, a little bit of Six, Hamilton, and the play that goes wrong. And as my producer Chris said, quite Python-esque, actually. It's brilliantly written. It really, really is. As I said, it's been extended a record 14 times. And the original cast, which I think is amazing, has just transferred to Broadway. But it's not being that well received on Broadway, which is such a shame. I think it's because it's so quintessentially British. And I don't necessarily think they get it, or they feel it as much, because it's incredibly British, and everyone talks terribly RP when they're not going into their amazing accents. But what is also astonishing, and I do hope that things turn out well for them in the Great White Way, because a lot of our shows do translate well once they get to Broadway, and I really hope for the original cast's sake that it does work. But maybe it's just something that has to sort of bed in. But the cast are incredible. There's only 5 cast members, and they literally are changing roles on stage, with sort of glasses or a hat or whatever, and they'll change accents, change characters, literally in front of your very eyes. So 5 amazing actors who are assuming about, I think, 3 or 4 characters each, and they're not going off stage and then coming back on again, which I think is easier, because you can go off, get change, and then put your sort of other acting head on, other character head on. They're doing it literally in front of you, and it's an acting masterclass. It really is absolutely brilliant. It's so funny. So extraordinary versatility being demonstrated by these amazing actors. It's deservedly won an Olivier for Best New Musical. And I also really love the intimacy of the 432-seat Fortune Theatre in Covent Garden. By Jove, it's simply brilliant. Welcome back. I'm very glad to have you here. And also to our new listeners in Northampton, very, very happy to have you listening as well. Hope you're enjoying the show as much as I'm enjoying presenting it. So I've talked over the last couple of weeks about an exciting event that I'm hosting with 2 amazing powerhouse women that I work with. So one of my previous guests, Elsa Petchy, who was on last week, and my guest today, Hannah of HK Hair, who's coming on to talk about sort of all things hair and her amazing hairdressing salon, award-winning hairdressing salon. We're hosting this incredible event next week on the 3rd of April, and there's a few tickets left. I think last count we had about 10 tickets left. It's completely free, and it's basically called Embrace the Change Hair, Hormone Balance and Style Workshop. So we're asking you to join us for a transformative evening. It's going to be such fun. Hannah's going to guide you through all things hair during menopause, because as I've mentioned before, during menopause, your hair can sort of start thinning and falling out, and just sort of start to lose its luster, as the sort of things that we take for granted when we're younger. So she'll be helping us through that and why it changes, and as I say, how to prevent it, and learn practical tips on sort of how to give you confidence during this tricky time. With my personal styling hat on, I'm going to help you rediscover your sense of style with a focus on dressing for your changing body shape during menopause. I'll show you how to wear clothes that make you feel empowered and confident, and bring an item from your wardrobe that you don't wear very often. So just one item. We've all got, please don't tell me you haven't got one item that you don't wear. We've all got items that we don't wear. So, please bring one item that you don't wear that you love and you think, I'd like to wear this, but I've nothing to go with it. Please bring it along and I will show you how to wear it. So if it's a skirt that you think, oh, you bought it for a special occasion and you've got nothing to wear it with, I might sort of say, well, try teaming it with a white t-shirt and a white trainer, or a blazer or a denim jacket. Again, it's just that one item, and just one item will make such a difference. And again, if it's something that you maybe want to swap with another guest there, then we're happy to do that in a kind of swishing way. So it's all about sort of upcycling and, not buying and being very wasteful. So hopefully that will help. And we only wear 20% of our clothes 80% of the time. So I'm going to get you to think really hard about your wardrobe and think, do I wear everything in my wardrobe? And obviously I do wardrobe weeds, and it is about looking at your wardrobe objectively and thinking, do I love this? Does it bring me joy? do I fit into it? Did I buy it because it was on sale? So, ascertaining the reasons for why we've all got way too much in our wardrobes. And Elsa Petri, a menopause coach and Pilates instructor from the Olive Collective, is going to discuss how hormone changes impact weight, body, confidence, and skin. She's also going to share 5 tips on five superfoods which are really going to help support healthy hair, skin, and gut health. And I'm listening to a brilliant podcast actually by Mel Robbins, whom I'm obsessed with, and I'm going to talk more about her another time because I'm reading her book at the moment called Let Them. But she does a brilliant podcast, and she has these amazing guests on. And she had somebody called, the lady's handler's Gut Bliss, and she's talking all about sort of gut health, and it's so important because we can put the most amazing skincare products on our our skin, drink loads of water, but if we are not eating the right things for our gut, it's going to sort of undo all the good. And obviously ultra processed food, which I've talked about before, is a big factor. So again, Elsa will talk about that. So it's really going to help you start your journey to feeling good as well. So why should you attend? Well, a fact that it's free. I mean, there's not many free events around, let's be honest. So it's it's on Eventbrite under Embrace the Change, so it's very easy to book. So you can gain invaluable tips for your menopause toolkit. Tickets, as I say, are free and supported by the National Lottery Community Fund and Places for People. As I said, 10 places left, so do book really quickly. We'd love to get to capacity. We're really, really happy with people who are coming so far, but please spread the word. We're passionate about helping women sort of navigate this really, really tricky time of menopause. But as I say, if you're curious about and you want to know a little bit more, the link is on my bio, or you can book, as I say, to book on my bio as well, or drop me a DM, and I'm really happy to help. But that's Embrace the Change on the 3rd of April. And I'm going to talk fashion. I'd like you to embark on my rather painful journey of trying to find the perfect pair of trousers. In fact, not even the perfect pair of trousers. I'm not asking for pink snow. I'm asking to find a pair of trousers that actually fits me. So last week I ordered 15, you heard correctly, 15 pairs of trousers. Not one of them fits. Not one. So I tried 7 different brands. I tried a couple of brands that I've, used before, and they were kind of okay, but not amazing. And the colors weren't true to size. So I think that is the danger of ordering online, is that, something, I ordered these, what I thought were purple trousers, and they were blue. And I was like, if I wanted navy, I would have ordered navy, but they were clearly blue and I wanted purple. So the color wasn't accurate. But oh my goodness, the sizing. So I thought, I'm going to try some other brands. So I ordered a 14, a 16, and an 18. And then the other 2 I ordered were a large and an extra large. I don't really mind what size I am. I really actually don't care. I generally take about a 14. I don't say I am a 14. I'm not defined by my size. But, I take a 14 in the main. I don't mind wearing 16. I don't even mind wearing an 18. I just want my trousers to fit me. Anyway, so the first pair I tried on was a brand called Saint Tropez, who I've never used before. I thought they're elasticated, they'll be fine. So I tried on the large. They wouldn't even go over my thighs. So I tried on the extra large. They went on, but they were obscene. You could see what I had for breakfast. They were just nasty, so they had to come off straight away. Then I tried on a pair by Sasanda, pink pair of trousers, which I absolutely adored. And I've got the jacket to match, so I thought, well, I can get a suit out of this. They're a 16. They fit really well around my thighs, but they are absolutely mahoosive in my waist. I could get a small child down the back of my waist there. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm probably going to keep those, take them to the seamstress, but she's probably going to have to take them in about 5 inches. So again, that I do not understand. Then I tried on some jeans. Oh my God, jeans are my absolute nemesis. I cannot find the perfect pair of jeans. So I tried on these Nymph jeans, and they're a size 18, and they fitted okay. A little bit big at the back, but I just didn't love me in them. I think that was it. It wasn't so much there was something wrong with the trousers, so I can't entirely blame them. They're a little bit long, and I mean, I'm 5'5", and everything is so long at the moment. So for petite women, and that's most of the UK, the average woman is now a size 16, 5'3" and under. Everything is way too long. So if you're buying a regular, it's going to be too long, and most shops don't do petite. And even if you were going petite or short, they would be too short. So it's really, really hard to find that perfect fit, or even a half decent fit. So 5 pairs of trousers, none of which sort of cut the mustard. I'm going to keep on looking for the perfect pair of jeans. I can't believe it doesn't sort of they don't exist. I'm beginning to suspect that they don't. But I'm just so fed up, and I'm sure you guys listening as well are so fed up with the lack of standardization in our clothes. I mean, what I'm wearing today, this dress is for the purposes of those who are listening, but not the vodcast bit. I'm wearing a green animal print dress from Hush. This dress is a size 10. Clearly, I'm not a size 10, but it just shows how sizes have varied and have varied and still continue to vary. So again, how can I be anything from a size 10 and yet not get into a size 16? I just don't get it. And it's so frustrating. So that's why I have a job. That's why I try and, help women like me find clothes that are going to fit. Because I say you cannot walk into a fitting room now and just say, right, I'm a size 12 and know that everything you try on is going to work. Because I've talked about this before, even within a brand, you can be 2 different sizes. So it is absolutely crazy. I'm begging. If there are any manufacturers or designers listening, please, can we start standardizing our clothes? So us women can just feel a little bit better about ourselves. It's hard enough being a woman, particularly a menopausal woman, having to navigate mirrors without having to navigate this whole painful journey of trying to find things that are going to fit. So I'd love to find the perfect pair of trousers. When I do find it, because I do believe that they are out there, I will keep looking. Do come on my journey with me. I've posted this on my socials. Be interested to know what you think if you're feeling the same level of pain that I am. This video I posted last night, it's gone a little bit crazy on Instagram, which is great because it's resonating, but obviously not great for those reasons that everyone is feeling this frustration. I posted a video about 18 months ago on dress sizes, in that I was wearing a 10, a 12, 14 and a 16, and it actually did go viral. I got about 300,000 views. So it just shows that there is a real need and a thirst for women to just feel listened to and heard. And please say, designers, manufacturers, please, can you just standardize your clothes? It cannot be that difficult. And I'm so excited. I've got my actual hairdresser in. It's taken a while to get here, I have to say, dates and everything, but I'm such a big fan of this girl, not only because she makes my hair look fabulous, but because she's such an all-round amazing person, such a great role model, superwoman, juggles 3 children and a phenomenal business. But enough about me. No, I'm joking. I don't have 3 kids. I've got 2. No, seriously. Hannah of HK Hair. Hannah has had a successful HR career in the motor industry and then retrained in her late 20s in hairdressing to establish her own business, driven by a passion for sustainable, inclusive beauty. As I said, a mother of 3, she shaped her business model for flexibility and balance whilst pioneering sustainability and waste reduction in the industry. Through collaborations with charities, women's networks, faith groups and community stakeholders, she fosters a safe, welcoming space. This woman can network, I tell you. She is like the ultimate networker. Her commitment to excellence and ethical beauty has made HK Hair and Wellness a leading destination for clients from across the UK and beyond. Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you so much, Nancy. I'm so pleased to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy. Honestly, it's taken us a few months to
get.
It
certainly has, yeah. Very busy people, both of us.
We are indeed. So, firstly, thank you for making my hair look so amazing.
You're very welcome.
It's so lovely. I just wanted to sort of say how we met, actually, because it's actually a really lovely story. So in lockdown, when everyone had the worst hair in the world and everyone was stressing about roots and condition and everything because we couldn't get to our hairdressers. I think for most people, for me personally, what I missed most in lockdown was the theatre and my hairdresser. And I'd seen Hannah on Instagram and I just, I like this girl. I like her style. And I love the fact that Hannah reached out to customers and said, if you need any advice, we'll do a virtual consultation. And I was like, that's what I need. And I think we were so starved of human contact then as well, so it was really important to have that. So we had a little consultation, and you via the power of Zoom, thank God for Zoom, you ascertained what I needed, and it was almost like the equivalent of a drug drop, but it wasn't really, because Hannah would turn up in my garden and hand over a little a root cover up, which was great. And it kept, and you're probably thinking, well, it's lockdown, nobody saw us, but I didn't have a normal lockdown. I created a YouTube channel and I was super productive. So I was on air and I had a podcast, everything. So I was doing a lot. So it wasn't like I could just let myself go completely. And also having grey roots wasn't great. Although sometimes I do wish I'd just gone with it, and I wouldn't have to go through this now. But as you've told me, I'm not completely grey, so I wouldn't be able to do that. So it was just a lovely way to meet. And then obviously when we came out of lockdown, we met, and the rest is history. And obviously that's 4 years. This is the longest I've ever been with a hairdresser.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
No, it's a pleasure, because I generally say to people, change your hairdresser every 3 years, because it's very easy to get stuck in, like with clothes, get stuck in a style rut. And I think sometimes hairdressers just go, oh, same again, and but we don't get that. So that's why I'm still, and I will be with you till the day I die. Absolutely, that's a promise. You heard it on air.
I think that's the what you've just explained is what I think is the most important thing with my business. It's all about relationships. And yes, we offer incredible hair and beauty services. But actually, it's how you feel in our chair, but also when you look in the mirror at home. And I certainly found I thought was important during lockdown. Yes, from a business point of view, there was an importance to keep establishing those connections from a business point of view, absolutely. But for me personally, I was also in lockdown, with 3 children and a husband that couldn't work from home. So actually, that gave me a little bit of focus when when my husband was home. I had allocated times where I made sure that I did stuff for the business, but also with those driveway drops for various hair products and things. Actually, at a socially distanced, I had some more human connection with other adults as well. So I think it worked both ways, and I think a lot of hairdressers felt that we had this knowledge that we shouldn't share. Whereas actually, if I can teach someone to cut their own fringe at home and then help them feel a little bit like them in that period of time, then for everybody's mental health, that was really important.
Which you did. And I think it's interesting you said it, because sometimes I think there is maybe an element of not thinking of your hairdresser as being human. They're just a person there to create a service, probably like me being a personal stylist. I'm just there to do a job, make people look amazing. Just the same with you. But actually, no, we are human and we love our jobs, and the reason we do what we do is because we love people, and it's about empowering women particularly and making them feel amazing about themselves. So it's great to sort of have a face, put a face and know what the personality is, and the character and the life behind this amazing service that that hairdressers, but particularly you and at HK Hair and Wellness provide. So very grateful. So I'm glad you said how did you driveway drop? How did I? It's a better description than mine, actually. I couldn't think of it. I don't have a driveway, so that. But no, I do know what you mean. And joking aside, and your tutorials online when we were in lockdown were so useful, and it was fabulous, as you say, that human contact. So so lots more to talk about. We will come back to how you juggle as well. It just blows my mind. Welcome back to the Nancy Stevens Lifestyle Show here on the New Horizon. Oh my God, you should hear what we talk about off air. Sometimes these are the best bits, actually. One of these days I'm going to clip a piece and just put it out there, because it's very amusing. So talking to my amazing hairdresser Hannah about some of the services as a hairdresser that you might not expect hairdressers to do, but we'll talk, that's for another time. So in all seriousness, back to how you juggle. I see you as the original superwoman. You do. I think as women we are amazing at multitasking, because we have to, and I guess if you want a career and you want to be a mother, you manage to do that. And I know you find things a little bit frenetic sometimes, but you do it. You do, and you're such a great role model for your kids, and I'm sure that's really important for you. They see mummy working, but you're also there for them.
Yeah, it is really important. I mean, I think it's important. Always important to mention that I come from a place where we had 3 years where we didn't think we could have any children. So I am in the absolute midst of chaos that I've always wanted.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah, absolutely. So we went from not having any children, my husband and I, to 3 children in 4 and a bit years. And so absolutely feel blessed, however exhausted I am. And yes, I do juggle. But I had the business has taken various forms, I suppose. It was I had a large team with about 12 staff originally many years ago. We then I actually stepped away from my first salon business when we had our second child because of I couldn't be. You're told as a woman particularly, we can have everything, and we can, but we've still only got 24 hours in the day, and you need to choose. And I didn't want to be full time in the business, and so that first salon, actually, I stepped away. Our senior stylist took the business over. We converted our garage at home. So everyone kept their jobs and everything was all set, all okay from that point of view. I then we've converted our garage at home, spent 4 years at home, working in my home salon space. We had a third child, and that was great because professionally I still kept my manufacturer's contract. I had in-salon training, but the trainer came to my home instead. And so I think I've been able to ensure that I am able to juggle, but it has got to be within the means of what I'm able to do for my own mental health as well, actually. And then when the premises came up where we are at the moment, we're at the beautiful Furtho Manor Farm, and I'd inquired about a space there thinking I might have like a small office, and then during the last lockdown I got an email from my now landlord to say that a larger unit had become available, and it was worst timing ever. I had no idea when we were going to reopen. I wasn't even going to go have a look at it. As a household, we didn't bubble with anybody because my parents are local, but they'd bubbled with grandparents. So I actually went and had a look at the unit on my own, but we are just in the most incredible space. We've got rolling hills. It's lovely for our clients to come to, but also as us as a team and as me as an owner, if we're going to invest in a space. And then ultimately a year later we took a second space. But the hours that we are open, we have 2 days a week where we're only open 9:30 till 2:30 at the moment, and that's because I do all the school runs, and that's really important to me. Yes, I do go back to work, and then I work 6 till 10 and do quite a lot of juggling. I'm lucky that I've got a supportive husband who also has got his own business. We have a shared Apple calendar which sorts us out no problem, and it won't always be like this, I know, but yeah, it is really important, and we can put all of our family values into the business as well,
which you absolutely do. And you're talking about, the menopause is really out of my brain. Further Manor Farm, where the salon is, it's just beautiful, and as a client it is so wonderful. Your salon isn't a typical salon. That's one of the many reasons I love it, is it's not you don't get that going anywhere nice on your holiday and you've got loud commercial music blowing. I can't cope with all that. I love the fact that it's quiet, it's calm, it's tranquil, but the views, particularly in the summer when you've got or the sort of spring when you've got the lambs out there, it's lovely. And I think from the moment you drive into the farm, you just feel that sense of peace and think, because the hair experience should be a calming experience. And if you're trying to drive somewhere, where I've been to salons in the past and parking's been an absolute nightmare. By the time I got there, I've been so stressed. I've just think I wanted to almost say I can't even be bothered with this having my hair done. So just driving down the driveway, it's a long drive into Further Manor Farm. You're just like, and I'm usually there quite a long time, good 3 hours generally. So you're there for the duration, and it is such a lovely, welcoming, calm space, and that's what hairdressing should be about. And I think I need to say to other hairdressers, if anybody's listening, take a note, because this is what we don't want, this constant chatter of and off, like the junior going anywhere nice on your holiday. I'm just not up for that. The music's quite low, and as I say, what I do love as well is you have got an option if people don't like don't like people, don't like crowds, they are sort of sensory overload, that you have got another space for them to go. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment, because I know that's so important to you. Sort of inclusiveness, diversity, and sustainability. Those are your kind of three. I hate using the word buzzword, but I know those words are so.
They're the pillars and the foundation of our business. Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll definitely talk about that, because I think there's no one else like you, and no other salon, and that's why you're award winning.
Thank you.
So as I said earlier, we were talking about the three things that are integral to your salon, and this is why you win awards: sustainability, diversity, and inclusion. Talk us through why this is so important to you.
I think I wanted to create a space, and certainly I have that now at our base at Furtho, where we have 2 units there, one for predominantly hair and one for predominantly beauty and wellness services, and we had a completely blank canvas, and I needed that space because I wanted to create a space that anyone, regardless of their needs, was able to access, first of all, from a physical point of view. So we're completely accessible, and advocate for our space in that way. But we also are completely inclusive. So we offer hairdressing for all hair types, all genders. We have individual treatment rooms that we can use for clients that wear a hijab, maybe going through transition, cancer therapy treatments, and we're qualified, most importantly, to support on the scalp health of an individual, but also I'm qualified to cut wigs as well. And so whatever anybody's needs are, actually, we can create and offer a safe space. You mentioned earlier about the music levels in the salon, and that's deliberate, absolutely, as everything is in the salon.
Very happy with that.
And actually, that's for me personally. I mean, lots of people have hidden needs. I mean, I've got total deafness in one side. That came on as an adult. So I know personally some of the impacts, not all of them. And I'm very open to say that there are lots of things I don't have lived experience in. And so what we have done passionately as a business has reached out to religious groups, individuals that don't look like me, to make sure that we are offering services that firstly that they want and need, but also they feel welcomed coming in to do. Yeah. And then from a sustainability point of view, I think it was really clear in between the lockdowns when we had, so at the time I was solo working, and I would have an entire bin bag full of waste every day, and that was just from one hairdresser. And so that sort of started a channel of events where we now recycle, as a business, we recycle 95% of everything that comes into salon. The hair that we cut off, the foil that we use. Only 2% of hair salons in the UK recycle the aluminium foil that they use for highlighting hair. And that's purely because of lack of knowledge of how we can safely recycle it. So what I don't want it to be, though, is that HK Hair and Wellness has a niche. What I want it to be is that every salon should be like ours, and we really support the industry, which I am doing with other businesses.
I mean, it's such a big thing that you've done, and it's so important, as you said. And it's not about shaming other businesses, because that's not what you're about, but it's about, sort of highlighting that actually, I mean, I didn't know, that's a scary statistic actually, because we talk about sort of clothes waste and sort of landfill and everything, but you never think about it from a sort of a hair perspective. So that's really, really interesting. And and in no way does the as a client does my experience feel compromised at all.
No.
So yeah, it's incredible, and obviously you've won awards.
We have, yeah. So we've won an SME award for our sustainability. So an SME Business Award. So that's incredible. That's completely set aside from a Hair and Beauty Industry Award. We have in the past won those as well. But actually, what I felt was I really want to elevate us as an industry. So I do show up in rooms, in business environments. You mentioned me networking. I do, having had a previous corporate experience, I do feel that the hair and beauty industry is seen in a different light. If I am to describe myself as a hairdresser, now I put chemicals on people's heads. I mean, you're not going to, however, some people do downplay hair and beauty, you wouldn't let your friend put peroxide on your head. I mean, that's the brunt of it. We are mathematicians, we have to be scientists. But so I do show up, make sure that I show up in rooms to represent our industry in different areas. So yes, we won it was a SME award for sustainability, sponsored by IKEA, which was fantastic. And we have won. We were actually national finalists for the Startup Awards last year as well, for in the fashion and beauty category. So a huge category. So yeah, that was incredible too.
It's amazing. And as you say, people's perception of hairdressers, not so much now, but I think in the past would have been, slightly bit sniffy about it. You're some sort of bimbo, and that's not the case at all. I mean, the way you've just described it again, it's like you're scientists, you're mathematicians. And you wouldn't, I mean, people do, but they shouldn't put peroxide on their friend's hair. So, and there's so much that goes into it. And I know, again, as someone, as someone who's had all hair colours, but I've been a redhead now, thanks to you guys, for 3-4 years now. I know that it's not easy. And when I see people who don't have the experience that I have, or I can see other people, I look at other people's hair now quite objectively, and I think, God, I know where you should go, because this is what you could do, and I see people doing their own hair, and I'm thinking, oh my God, it's just not good. It's that box job, dyeing your own hair is never going to be amazing. You're never going to get the depth and the conditioning and the color, and it's really important, as you say, that you offer all these different services and everyone feels like it's a safe space, because that is very unusual. And also talking about, you've just done curly hair, you've just done a curly course, so sporting your natural lustrous curls, which I will be following next week. I can't wait. But that's again, curly hair.
I think that was down to really, we've always done curly hair services as a business. We've always supported that, but I've actually been, and that's due to my own naivety, I've got to be honest. I've owned a business now for 12 years and didn't realise actually the lack of training, particularly in other businesses. And so we were really doing our clients a disservice by not vocalising as much as what I do now of what we actually offer. So yes, you will see much more of our curly hair services.
Because I know my hair's poker straight today, but this, as someone who has got curly hair, and I'm hoping my curl's going to look like yours, is it is not an easy thing to do, and there's a particular way of cutting it. So I know there's lots of different ways of doing it, but I know that you've been trained to do it. And so for all those curly haired girls out there who are just not loving their hair and straightening it, and not knowing where to go, honestly, I'm so excited to sort of experience this. And your hair is a brilliant example. You leading by example, and I always think that's quite interesting, actually, because back in the day, going to hairdressers, sometimes there were less than shining examples, shall we say, with their hair. I just think you're an actual advert. You're supposed to be an advert for your salon, and some of them are like a really brittle hair or needed a good trim, or the roots were showing. I think, so yeah, I every time I see your hair, I just think I want to look like you. So you're obviously doing something right.
Thank you.
So we were talking off air about the fact that you've adopted you've gone back to your natural curls. So as someone who in 4 or 5 years ago during lockdown, I was adopting the curly girl method, and let's be honest, if you've done curly girl, it's a mission, and there's certain groups that are quite rabid, and I would almost say they were quite fascist about the way that you do things, and you had to do them in a particular order, and you had to use a million products. You're saying this is super easy.
Yeah, well, it can be if we support the hair, the health of the hair, and that's what I want. We've talked about that I have a very busy lifestyle, and off air I just washed my hair this morning before the school run, and I diffused it to a point that I'm not sopping wet on the school run. Literally, I've changed one product in terms of my hair care. So I think it's really having a supportive hairdresser first of all, and making sure that, because yes, there are some individuals that do want to sell you 6 products, and unfortunately that is the situation. Well, actually, that's not our ethos at HK Hair and Wellness at all. It is very much to support our clients with the time that they have and the amount of time and money they want to invest on their hair, and that is different. We do have clients that want to come in and spend 3 hours with us really regularly because it's the only time that they have by themselves, and there are others that it's not as much. So yeah, I think for us, we've very much worked on an HK hair method in terms of curl care, and we're aiming to change 2 products maximum, providing that someone's using a really moisturising shampoo and conditioner. So it's very much low maintenance, and not using so much that you then have to detox the hair every so often as well, which doesn't sit well with me.
No, and I'm very glad you said that, because I'm my hair takes nearly an hour to blow dry, and it's boring, and I've got better things to do with my time. So if I only have to spend 20 minutes on it once a week, because I'm lucky I only have to wash my hair once a week, then I'm absolutely delighted. And also I think what you're really good at is also working with hair that is changing through sort of menopause, and you're 10 years postpartum, you said. So again,
I'm 6 years since I had my youngest child, but then had 3 children really quickly, and I've got to be honest, during my pregnancies I had the smooth hair that I'd always dreamed of, but I couldn't do anything with it. And other than that, I've always had very quite bushy hair that didn't have it's taken 6 years, I would say 18 months in real time of actual care for my own health, really, as well, of making sure that my iron levels were where they should be, whether my vitamin D is. A lot of people have underlying thyroid conditions that they don't know about. All of those things that we don't think of can impact hair health, because your body is the focus, and sometimes then those vitamins don't get where else they need to be.
Absolutely. I mean, your hair is literally a barometer, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
And it's stress as well. There's stress, menopause, stress, I think, is a huge thing. And you've always asked me in the past when I've been moaning about my hair, you've said, how stressed are you on a scale of 1 to 10? And, unfortunately, it's usually sort of upper levels. But lately, my stress levels have gone down, and my hair definitely feels better for it. So, and also the vitamin intake, as you say, looking at the levels. But again, not many hairdressers would go into that much depth and would try and flog you a load of products. I've never, ever felt like I'm being sold loads of products ever. I will ask, you will advise, but generally speaking, there's never been that. And in many salons, that does feel like, you think, you walk out and you think with 5 or 6 products, and you think, well, am I going to be able to replicate this? Because that's the whole thing with seeing a hairdresser. Is obviously you guys know what you're doing, and you're blow drying from a different angle, and you're going to get a better blow dry than you trying to do it yourself. But again, that pressure of having to buy a load of product, and all your products are amazing. You're using Montebello now, which the colour, I have to say,
it's the most sustainable range that I found, and it's but that also does all the professional things we want it to. It's incredible,
and it is very difficult to get products that do all those things. I mean, it's I think I know there's a product that Head and Shoulders that say that it does cleansing, shampoo and conditioner, but you cannot. It's physically not. It's physically not possible to do both.
No.
And you're doing your hair a massive disservice. And I would urge anybody who is struggling with their hair is to look at the ingredients. It's all about the ingredients. If you've got phosphates and sulfates, and what's the other thing that's nasty?
Mate, there's so many things. What I would say though is for hair and skincare, because we have employed beauty therapists as well on site. We do free consultations. There's no obligation. If someone is concerned or just needs some advice, we're very happy to for people to contact us and have a chat.
And again, it's been given that advice. It feels so personal, and it does feel like a proper consultation. And there's never that, I should work for you, actually. I'm just deciding, I think actually I'm going to do a good bit of PR for you here. But no, in all seriousness, I do. That's why I love having guests on with whom I've had experience. And for me, it's like I can talk from Otherwise, it feels sometimes like the guest is trying to plug something, and it's never the case. It's like if I've experienced this, I can talk about it passionately, and obviously, and then it's like a mutual admiration society.
That's just so lovely, Nancy. And on the product sales side, as a business owner, I know exactly why your experience is different. It's because my team aren't targeted in that way, deliberately so, because I don't want anyone to feel a hard sell. In that way, we inform our clients. They will hopefully purchase a product that we feel that will do good. But also, if I saw you on the street having used a product that we'd recommended and it wasn't doing what I wanted it to, I'd have no hesitation in saying, which we have done in the past, bring it back in, we'll swap it over, we'll do something else. So I wouldn't want anyone to feel negatively that they bought something that didn't work for them at home either.
And I am fussy, and you are very good at dealing with my little temper tantrums afterwards, because I do have particularly high standards when it comes to hair. You must think, oh God, she sent me another video, whatever. But you always do come back and say, oh, it's probably because of that, or let's have a chat. And you always, and I never feel like I'm wasting your time. And again, so I know you're probably not thinking that, but I know that you listen, and that's really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you threw a little bombshell in there at off-air again. Off-air chats are brilliant. That you guys are all trained mental health.
We're within the salon space, we've got employees that are trained with mental health first aiders at work, and that came about during in between lockdowns. It's a qualification that a few of us did. Milton Keynes College were offering free courses during lockdown, which was fantastic. And as if I felt that was important, particularly after lockdown, when in a lot of instances we were the first person outside of someone's household that they came into contact with. And yes, we were, and also from an environment, we were completely covered in plastic and masks and visors
hazmat
and
suits,
all that kind of stuff. But also to make sure that we're not trained therapists, absolutely. But there are people that, and I don't want my team to carry that either. And there are many of our clients share things with us that they wouldn't share with their spouse or their friends. And I think it's important for us, while our clients are in that safe space, for us to be able to signpost, which is what the mental health first aid at work qualification does, to make sure that we can signpost. But also, if my team were to hear anything that they feel is concerning as well, we do have they would then either speak to me to see whether we can then support that individual in the appropriate way for our role. Yeah.
Gosh, that's incredible. I mean, the thing is, everyone knows that your hairdresser is your best friend in terms of, being, your counsellor, because there is something very, same with me as a stylist. People come in and it's a very privileged position to be in. Within 20 minutes, you know their life story. But, there is something about just being able to talk and, as you say things to your hairdresser that you wouldn't say to your to your spouse or your friends.
I think that's one of the reasons. So we've talked about colour in the past. You've done an incredible wardrobe weed for me. I'm completely sorted out my wardrobe, and I'm wearing black today because I'm about to go into the salon. But we wear black at work because I feel passionately about the fact that when someone is either in our chair or on our massage bed, and having beauty treatments, that it is all about the client. They are the focus, and I think sometimes that's why we do wear black and fairly generic with various styling to show a bit of individuality. But when people come into our space, it's about the client sat in front of us, and I think that's why our hairdressing chairs particularly become that safe space, because we're stood behind, you'll face the mirror. There aren't many occasions where you're sat like that. We also do mirrorless appointments as well, so if people aren't comfortable sat in front of the mirror for quite so long, we just remove the mirror. It's not a problem as well.
Interesting you say that, because sometimes I have that when I'm seeing clients for personal styling, that they won't look in the mirror, so I have to do the job for them, and that's fine, and you have to respect people's views and sort of how they feel about themselves. But so talking about wardrobe weed, that's a nice little segue into our event next week.
It is. I'm really excited.
Oh my god, a little bit giddy. You need to do some prep, but we are hosting this amazing event on the 3rd of April at Further Manor Farm, 6 till 7:30. Tickets available on Eventbrite, and it's basically embrace the change. I'm going to be wearing my styling hat, talking about why we only wear 20% of our clothes 80% of the time, and I'm really glad you enjoyed your wardrobe weed. It was really...
I did. It's been game changing. I keep showing you pictures of different outfits that I'm wearing and all sorts. It's just being able to wear my wardrobe in a different way. And as your body changes, so I've had 3 children, I've had 1 C-section in the middle, which has completely changed my body shape, and being able to still wear the clothes I like, but in a way that I'm happier with. And people have been commenting that they've noticed that I'm wearing things differently, which is really nice.
I'm so glad, because I got into some wide leg trousers and you were rocking those. You went and did a killer presentation at Warwick.
Warwick Women's Summit I spoke at, yes, and needed a pair of trousers very last minute the night before. And more people have commented on my wide leg trousers I got from George at 11 o'clock one Friday night than anything else I had in my wardrobe.
My work here is done. But joking aside, Elsa Petri from the Olive Collective is going to come and talk all things menopause, how to balance your hormones, and basically anything to do with menopause. I mean, there's nothing Elsa doesn't know about the menopause. So and then you're going to talk, you're going to be talking
about hair health, skin health, the changes, the things that we can do that are really easy to make that aren't going to take much time or thought is the main thing to make life easier.
I think it's going to be such a great event, and so we've probably got a few spaces left. So please check out.
And it's a free event.
It's free.
It's a free event. It's at Further Manor Farm. We're doing refreshments on arrival. Come and enjoy the evening with us.
I mean, really nice. If I wasn't presenting, I would.
I'm really excited. Yeah. I'm really excited to listen to you and Elsa. It's great.
No pressure, and vice versa. And I think it's going to be a lovely evening, where women can get together in a safe space and see the beautiful surroundings. And obviously, as you say, you do offer beauty treatments as well, which I'm going to experience as well. And you've got such a great team, but it's going to be such a lovely evening. And we urge you to come and join us. And say it's not very often that you get anything for free. And you've got 3 of us, with our different levels of expertise, giving advice, and bring as I said earlier, bring an item along that you don't wear, and I will style it for you as well. But I think there will be something for everybody, and there's not one thing that us menopausal women aren't affected by that we won't be covering. So very excited about that. So how can people reach you on the socials?
They can reach me so everything is HK Hair Wellness. So on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn as personally as Hannah Klupatanon, and that's KLEWPATINOND. And on our website, you can book free consultations through our website, which is hkhairwellness.com. Book availability directly to that, but also just DM us, and any questions, and we're always available to answer.
So easy to, and I love the fact that you have a consistent, everything's consistent. HK Hair and Wellness. It's really easy, very easy to find, very easy to navigate. So, no, thank you for being such an amazing guest.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, so I say it's been a long time coming, but so worth the wait. So contact me at Nancy MK. So it's Nancy underscore Nancy MK underscore on Instagram if you want to be a guest, or anyone who wants to be a guest. Always happy to have people who've got interesting stories to share. This show is just as much your show as it is mine. Next week's guest is author Lizzie Damalola Blackburn, and she's talking about her second novel, The Rewrite. But thank you so much for joining us. It's been a cracking show as always. Hope to see you at our event, and sending loads of love.